What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, this is 4K Motoring, and in this video I'm going to explain why you need one of these. You guys have seen my videos before on these products. These little lithium jump starters are fantastic. I frequently use them, and I found them to be pretty phenomenal tools that is pretty much a must-have for any vehicle. Now, I've been working with this company, JF.Egwo, for a little over a year now, reviewing a couple of their devices and going back and forth with them on some of the features of their devices. This is the latest one they've sent me, their new 6250 amp jump starter. This one's a little bit different than the last one. There's no fast charging abilities for this for USB-C or, power bank features, but this one's meant for heavy duty jump starting only. This jump starter comes in a pretty nice case, one of the better ones that I've seen. Compact, yet provides some protection for it. Inside we have our actual jump starter. From JF.Egwo, they put these things in a pretty rugged case. I mean, these things feel pretty robust. They're fairly large for what they are, so the battery pack, the actual lithium cells inside, I'm sure are pretty well protected. As you can see, this one is putting out 6,250 amps of starting power, and when we consider most of our batteries for most vehicles, even these big V8s, the factory batteries typically are only putting out 800 to 1,000 cold cranking amps. At over 6,000 amps, there's nothing realistically that this shouldn't be able to start. Also included in the package are some updated jump leads. Probably the biggest issues I've had with jump starters in general are these jump leads and getting clips that are easy enough to work with, that it can open wide enough for some of the battery terminals on some of the vehicles. And then also ones that have long enough cords to be able to plug in and not make it difficult to find a place to put this stuff. So JF.Egwo has re-engineered mostly this part here on this device to give us pretty heavy duty wires. These are pretty thick, pretty well insulated wires for a jump starter like this. They are pretty long, which allows you a little bit of flexibility on where you're going to lay your device. It does give indications whether it is connected or not, and it has a nice little screen here. Unlike just a light, it'll actually tell you what's going on. The jumper leads are pretty easy to use, and overall, there's not a whole lot of complicated stuff going on here. It is very easy just to turn on and get ready to jumpstart your car. One thing I've pointed out before is that these little things take up way less space in your vehicle than a set of jumper cables. They don't require a second vehicle to be present. That way you can self-rescue. You don't have to be dependent on somebody else if your battery dies. And they last for years in your vehicle without self-discharging. I know there's some thoughts out there on the dangers of lithium batteries. This thing has high temperature protection, low temperature protection, voltage protection, and has come a pretty long way from some of the cheaper lithium battery products that used to explode. There's a lot of safeguards in this thing to make sure that doesn't happen. To jumpstart your car, all we're going to do is take the positive with the plus, connect it to the positive lead, and same with the negative with the minus to the negative lead. We're then going to take our jump starter end. As you can see, the plugs have two different shapes, so it only goes in one way. We're going to find not the large end with all the USB-C connectors, but our small end with our jump starter connectors. Open it up and plug it in. Then we're going to press our power button, make sure the unit is on, make sure our 12-volt ready light's on there, make sure we have more than 50% charge, as in we're not in the red, we're in the green. We will get a 12-volt ready when the connection's good, and we can have a force start option if your battery is really dead or having difficult starting. With the JF.Egwo jump starter connected, all that's left is to get in the car and turn the key. Now, full disclosure, JF.Egwo did send this unit to me to review. They've sent me a couple units now, and overall, I'm pretty happy with their products. I really like how they're made. One thing I'll say is that they do run on the expensive side for jump starters. Like I said, most vehicles, most of your daily driver vehicles, the battery that you have in there is going to have less than 1,000 cold cranking amps. These things keep pushing these big numbers, over 6,000 cold cranking amps, and honestly, I'm not sure that that's really needed. For most of your average commuter cars, you could probably get by with a cheaper unit with a lower power output, and it'll work just fine. That said, this is very high quality as far as this unit goes. It is designed in the US but manufactured in China. One thing with this 6250 unit as opposed to the older 6000 or 4000 amp, this does not have the 65 watt fast charging ability for the USB-C power delivery system. Meaning if you're using this as a battery bank for some of your devices, which they can double as, which makes them quite useful, it doesn't quite have the same fast charging abilities. It still will charge your phone or something like that in a pinch, but at a much slower rate. Along with that, this also has a slightly smaller battery inside in terms of total capacity than some of the last units, which again means if you're looking for just a battery bank, this may not be your unit. If you're looking for something that will start your vehicle every time and that's its only usage, this is definitely one to consider. If there's any features you guys would want to see in one of these units, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. If you guys have used one of these lithium jump starters, JF.Egwo or otherwise, I'd love to hear how it worked for you, if you had any problems or if it worked great for you. I've used a ton of brands of these things, and let me tell you, just overall, they're fantastic to have. These JF.Egwo units are some of the higher quality ones, but make sure you have one in your vehicle. If you guys are curious, I'll leave a link down in the description below for this unit. And the last unit that I tested, that's 65 watt, that offers that power bank ability as well. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and like this video, and we'll catch you next time.